The multiverse often trembles not because of gods or cosmic arbiters, but because of forces born from raw necessity, creatures that embody survival in its purest, most violent form. In one corner of existence was Doomsday, a monster created by Kryptonian science, a weapon honed through death and rebirth, forged by endless slaughter. He was not merely strong, he was inevitability itself, a living curse that evolved beyond destruction, immune to the very concept of permanent defeat. When he moved across worlds, civilizations collapsed and heroes fell because they were not facing just a beast. They were facing an inevitability written into flesh. His form carried the weight of extinction, and when he stood before his enemies, he brought with him the reminder that death was not a possibility, but a promise. And in another corner of existence, there was the Hulk, born of gamma fire and human tragedy, an accident that became legend. But unlike Doomsday, Hulk's essence was not rooted in inevitability. It was rooted in infinity, where Doomsday represented the constant cycle of death and rebirth. Hulk represented boundless escalation, the pure, unending rise of strength through rage. There was no ceiling to his power, no final form where one could say, "This is the Hulk at his maximum." The Hulk was a paradox, a creature that could be both savage and mindful, both weapon and protector, but always growing, always climbing higher. If Doomsday was inevitability, Hulk was defiance, an unyielding scream against limits themselves. It was inevitable that the paths of these two titans would converge. The multiverse had seen them battle other gods, heroes and monsters, but never each other. And so whispers rose among celestial observers and cosmic minds alike. What happens when inevitability meets infinity? The philosophical underpinnings of their clash fascinated even the oldest cosmic entities. Eternity mused that Doomsday was the embodiment of entropy's persistence, while the Hulk was the embodiment of will's refusal. Galactus, ever the scientist-philosopher, pondered whether the rage-fueled infinity of Hulk could eclipse the adaptive certainty of Doomsday. Ruato the Watcher gazed silently, understanding that such a battle was not just muscle against muscle, but philosophy against philosophy. If Doomsday triumphed, it would be the victory of extinction, the final proof that all things fall, and adapt only into silence. If Hulk triumphed, it would be the victory of becoming, the argument that willpower, rage and survival could not merely meet inevitability, but transcend it. Doomsday, for all his terrifying adaptation, required death to grow stronger. His cycle was finite in every individual battle. He could resist what killed him, but only by dying to it. Hulk did not require such a cycle. He grew while still alive, while still fighting. This was a crucial difference. The ground trembled as they charged, colliding with a force that shattered mountains into dust and cracked the lifeless planet to its core. The sound of their impact rippled into the void, a thunder that could be heard across dimensions. Doomsday wasted no time. His claws ripped through the air, slashing across Hulk's chest and drawing green blood. Hulk roared, his fury igniting like wildfire, and swung a massive fist that caught Doomsday across the jaw, sending the monster tumbling through jagged peaks. Doomsday rose instantly, bone shards reforming where they had cracked, his body learning the texture of Hulk's strength. He lunged again, faster this time, his adaptations already adjusting to the rhythm of Hulk's blows. He struck with feral precision, his fists raining down like meteors, breaking stone and cracking Hulk's ribs. But Hulk only grew angrier, his muscles swelling, his eyes glowing brighter. He caught one of Doomsday's fists mid-swing, and with a roar snapped the monster's arm at the elbow before driving his knee into Doomsday's skull. The impact created a crater large enough to engulf a city. Doomsday howled in mindless rage, his arm already repairing, his skull reforging. He lashed out, impaling Hulk with bone protrusions. Hulk bellowed in pain, but instead of falling, he tore the spikes from his own body and used them as weapons, stabbing Doomsday through the chest. They fought like primordial gods, each strike echoing with the weight of their philosophies. Doomsday's inevitability pressing against Hulk's endless escalation. Hours passed, though time seemed meaningless. Each time Hulk was battered down, he rose stronger, faster, more relentless. Doomsday adapted to every tactic, every blow. every injury. But he was adapting in increments, while Hulk was rising in infinity. The difference grew starker with every clash. Hulk's punches began breaking through Doomsday's bony armor, shattering spikes, crushing limbs faster than they could adapt. Doomsday's growls grew more desperate, though he could not feel fear, for even inevitability begins to strain when faced with true infinity. At last, the dead planet could bear no more. The core shattered under their combined fury, and the world began to implode. Lava and fire poured upward as the surface crumbled, yet neither combatant relented. In the chaos, Hulk seized Doomsday, lifting him high into the storm of destruction. "You think you can't be beaten?" Hulk snarled, his voice deep and resonant with rage. "But you're just a wall, and walls break." With a final monumental roar, Hulk drove his fists into Doomsday's body, one after another, each blow fueled by rage that no limit could contain. The monster staggered, his adaptations failing to keep pace, his bones cracking under the fury of infinity. Hulk's fists blurred, striking faster than sound, faster than thought, until Doomsday's body was nothing but shattered remnants trying desperately to reform. Hulk's final strike broke the monster's chest open, hurling him into the collapsing planet's molten heart. The planet gave way, erupting into a cataclysm of fire and silence. And when the explosion cleared, it was Hulk who rose from the ashes, his body scarred but unbowed, his breath ragged but victorious. Doomsday's husk lay deep within the molten remains, struggling to move but too broken to rise again. Hulk had not just won by strength, he had proven the deeper truth. Inevitability can be resisted, but infinity cannot be stopped. Hulk's rage was not just violence, it was willpower, survival, and the unending truth of becoming. And so, as the cosmos looked on, the answer was written. Against the inevitability of extinction, the infinity of rage triumphed. The Hulk had proven that even death itself could not cage him, for he was not a cycle that ended and began again. He was the roar that only grew louder, the force that only grew stronger, the green giant who broke not just walls, but inevitability itself. And in that moment, the multiverse learned that Hulk was not just the strongest there is, he was strength without end.